Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors. We have some important things to do today. We have an immortal guy to shoot with a magic golden bullet. That's going to be fun. Probably other stuff. I'm pretty focused on getting Ashen's thing completed here, but obviously we have some things to do along the way. And since we're back, we may as well take advantage of our opportunities here to gain some free sanity, because who doesn't love free stuff? And then, yeah, we don't want to buy anything. We're good. We're still actually pretty good on fuel. Alright, to the north, right? I don't think there's anything else that we need to do around here. We have a passenger who wants to go to the City of Masks, of course. Yes, we have an important thing to do in the City of Engines as well. This is gonna be big for crew story progress, I think. I sure hope so. I sure hope that these aren't gonna turn out to be false steps. I mean, this isn't the end of Ashen's story or anything, right? She had other people, right? Didn't she have a whole bunch of people she wanted to get revenge on? Do we have the option of... No, we do not. I was going to say, we do need some bottled darkness. I've been trying to keep my notes more up to date here. And for Cromlech's thing, we do need a bottle o' darkness. So hopefully we'll stumble across one soon. A well that will actually let us pull one. What is out to our west here? This is just Fargal. Yeah, we don't care about that. We'll just go north through the city. Yep, drop the bucket. Okay, excellent. Unfortunately, we also still need a zoological specimen, parentheses, alive, which I don't know how to get. I don't know that we've ever had an opportunity to pick up a living specimen before. An obscene booklet, which is not, sadly, very exciting for us. And in fact might cause some problems when we try to go back to the City of Keys. We can just throw it away outside if it comes to it. Alright, let's, first of all, yeah, probably worth repairing the hull. Secondly, drop off our passenger, pick up a new passenger for Bog Shadow. Do we know where Bog Shadow is? We might have just gotten a new location on our map. Let's wander the streets a bit. Oh right, the play. Sure, I'll talk to these guys about the play. We sure do get a lot of fragments of epiphany from watching these plays. And then, we're not really tight on money, because we're about to turn in an awful lot of news, so we could advertise for a new crew member again. Here's the thing I'm not 100% clear on. It seems to me that it might be the case that you can only pick up certain crew members in certain places. Like, my guess is if we keep advertising here, we're going to see the same bunch of people over and over again because we've been seeing the same bunch of people over and over again, and the people that we get from advertising here are not people we want. So let's skip out on that for the moment. I suppose we ought to try to steal a star for the Mad Angel, right? I think. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Oh, this does not look terribly likely. The Star Gardens release a new star every few weeks. They float to the ceiling. Bright, pumpkin-sized things that twinkle prettily and boost tourism. No one really knows why the Lady of Blades grows them, and she prefers not to say. I mean, it might be the tourism thing. I'm just gonna go over there and steal it? Yeah, easy. Obviously. Swift and silent over the fence. You creep through the undergrowth to the nearest tree, climb the branches, and pull down a just-blossomed star. It is cool to the touch. The flames tickle. You hear approaching footsteps, a murmured song. The Lady of Blades is near. So run. So run away very, very fast. Well, that was easy. When they told us that they wanted us to steal a star for them, I thought that was going to be like a big problem. Okay, do we even want to rest and recover this close to the City of Angels? Especially since we know we need to go back there anyway. I think we can probably just leave it. So that being the case, I think we're done here. We should spend time with our pet. There we go. And then, yeah, we've looked at this menu a bunch of times recently. I think we're good. Let's get the hell out of here and go talk to the Hostage King, for whom we have done some very painful and dangerous things. I'm expecting a big reward. I'm also expecting that I will be disappointed. It's just a feeling I have, based on the shape of things thus far. So we need to go... Okay. North and west one more time. Damn it. It is very difficult to, oh, hey, it's the Tyrannic. We haven't seen the Tyrannic in a little while. I wonder if they will trade us any map information. They will not. What they will do is be very much in my way. I take no responsibility for them being teleported to the void. You all saw it. I tried to avoid interacting with them again. Okay, that train over there is behaving a little bit erratically. Definitely nervous about that. Oh, right. I should be keeping track of our golem supplies. So my guess is... Hold on a second. How many golems do we have on hand right now? My guess is that we will have 2 if... Nope, never mind. I was going to say 2 if we did spend a golem by shooting the golem cannon once, and 3 if we don't. Apparently neither one of those numbers is anywhere near correct, so I have no idea. You accumulate golems at such an incredible rate, you know? Let's gather news, just in case, again, in case we suddenly have to leave. Let's make sure we do that. And then I guess none of the other stuff we'd have to do here is terribly important. Oh, there's the battle. We interview soldiers because I'm a, what do you call it? I'm a reporter. Look at me, reporting on stuff. And then let's try to advertise for a new crew member. Let's see if we have any better luck here. I don't really want to replace Ashen or Cromlech. In fact, Ashen and Cromlech are the 2 I most don't want to replace. We're going to try one more time. Pen Pusher and Ashen. No, see, I just have empty slots, man. We'll keep trying periodically, but probably not here again. Alright, it's time to slip beneath the grime-black water. The exile is waiting beneath Tarwater Bay. The squid deposits you at the center of the machine citadel, where the demon looms and grinds away at its calculations. The hostage king is here on his chain-swaddled throne, surrounded by his ministers of mad science. That's a pretty good kind of minister to be. Now remember to kneel, whispers Dr. Delgado as you approach. Whatever we think of him, we are in his domain now. We must keep him happy. Yeah, Delgado's got a real different opinion of the hostage king than he used to, huh? The hostage king's sunlight gaze falls upon you, stripping away shadows. I'm gonna take those warnings fairly seriously. I guess let's take a moment here and determine, how does our character feel about the things that we've been made to do? Probably not great, right? But there's definitely been a sort of a hardening that's gone on over the course of the series, over the course of our time in the house. We've done some pretty screwed up things, and it feels like we're doing more screwed up things more frequently as time goes on. So now I'm thinking our character is probably not super happy with the things he's been made to do, but the hostage king believes he knows a way to break the barrier around the house, to make it possible to leave the house, and that's got to be priority number 1, I think. The gears in the hostage king's throne rumble in something like satisfaction. Have you acquired the items I need? He asks. Laplace has, of course, accompanied you down to the briny depths. He hops to the hostage king's side, doing his froggy best to approximate a kneel. They did well, your majesty, in exile. They have everything you wanted. Oh, right, the factory goods were part of this quest. I totally didn't... I think I sold those factory goods. Well, here's the thing, we could get more. I could get more. He said that we got everything, but we don't actually have everything because I sold the factory goods because I couldn't remember what they were. Yeah, so we still have the instability in the energy coil. Well, no, I need more time. Here's the thing, I need more time. I made a small mistake and I need more time. Oops. That's fine. We can get more. We'll just fight more factory guys. Gigantopedes? I wonder if we have to go back to the same place, or if, any Gigantopede has a chance of dropping the thing. The thing is, there's a merchant specifically for purchasing factory goods, so you must be able to get them in more places. Okay, well that's a little embarrassing for me, but it's fine. We'll just, we'll figure it out. Alright, I think we're good to leave here then. I think then we're good to leave here. Let's go deal with the Ashen thing. I'm sure we have what we need for the Ashen thing. Ask how this guy got here, and then just abandon his ass. I do wish that the back end of the train behaved in a way that was a little bit more intuitive. The degree to which it's able to snap to the side when you turn causes some real problems sometimes. So yeah, maybe we should just try to ambush random Gigantopedes whenever we see one. It's not ideal, obviously. I'm not a huge fan of engaging in the combat, but at this point, our character's sort of in for a penny, in for a pound, right? I have done horrible things to try to secure some way of escaping the house. And now, if I can't secure some way of escaping the house, then I've just done a bunch of horrible things for no reason. And that sounds terrible. Alright, gather news. Wander the bridges a bit, you know how we do. There's a guy, and he thinks he might jump. And I'm gonna convince him not to jump. Telling him I don't care if he jumps did not work the way we wanted it to. Gods, but you're young. He shakes his head in wonder. When did you all get so young? You see me and you think I'm getting ready to kill myself. You probably think I'm some desperate old fool, drunk and in debt. Well, you'd be right, but that ain't why I'm here. He raises his chin defiantly. I'm going to meet an old friend. Persuade him. Of what exactly? Because he does say he's not getting ready to kill himself. He's going, like... Again, this is probably not poetic language, because it tends to be the case that things are pretty literal around here. The old man listens to your pleas. A faraway look steals over his eyes, but he doesn't back away from the edge. I've lived in this city all my life. When I was very young and I had no home, the cold fogs came up. Most decent folk were inside, but not me. I saw something rising from below, some great shadow. I called out to it and it rested beside me a while, tired from the long flight up. I don't know what it was. I've been to the City of Angels, and it weren't one of those. No, it was tired and sad, and it spoke very well. It spoke about all manner of things I didn't understand, gods and tricksters, and it told me that there was nothing for me up here, that if I jumped, it would catch me. I was always too afraid, but now I'm old and nothing has proved it wrong. And I figure, even if it's not waiting to catch me, I'd rather die down there knowing the truth than up here uncertain. He looks you dead in the eyes. Well, are you going to stop me? I kind of think no. Right? I mean, first of all, I sort of believe dude ought to be allowed to determine whether or not he wants to jump off a bridge. But also... it sounds like he's really thought this through. I'm gonna let the man remain in control of his own deal. He shudders violently. Fine. He steps delicately down from the railing and then collapses, a sheen of sweat on his brow. Whatever lives below, it's waiting. Tell those cosmonaut fools that. It's waiting, and not for them. Huh. Cosmonauts. You look them up. A little-known group of enthusiasts who want to descend and explore the abyss beneath the City of Bridges. They sound interesting. That does sound interesting. Did I click the wrong button? I tried not to convince him... I might have clicked the wrong button, because it seems like I accidentally convinced him not to jump. Or maybe you tell him that you would let him jump and he just, maybe what we're seeing here is him not being able to go through with it. Well, in any case, he taught me about the Cosmonauts, which is a fairly clever name. Yeah, I do want to plan my assassination of G. That's totally going to happen. Let's pay the Cosmonauts a visit first. The headquarters of the Cosmonauts juts out over the abyss like a great concrete beak. As you approach, you can hear the squealing of metal under immense pressure. A vast winch spins overhead, accumulating a colossal knot of chain. Something is being reeled up from below. Your knock at the door is answered by an old man. A plate of twisted iron covers half his face like a scab. Come in, he urges. She's almost here. The other Cosmonauts are similar figures, worn down with lumps of metal clinging uselessly to their bodies. They stand around the open hole in the floor, staring down into ink-black depths. A mile-long chain dangles down and disappears into thinness. Yeah, okay, I'll wait. I'm here to see what's going on. The golem turns the winch with mechanical patience. The abyss gazers jostle and whisper. Finally, something parts the mists below. A figure in a heavy rubber suit, crouching in a giant iron bucket. Her helmet is a dome-shaped brass cage. Are you okay, Greta? Calls the old man. There is no reply from the Cosmonaut below. Oh, that's not a good sign, he mutters as the bucket finally reaches you. Greta is pulled free by a dozen hands and laid out on the floor. The old man checks her breathing, but she is totally limp. Oh, the metal has her. It's burrowing toward her heart, he announces. We need to cut it out of her, quick. Oh boy. The old man's hands are shaking. You're not sure you'd trust him to swab your kinetipede right now, let alone perform major surgery. I'm not a surgeon, though. This is a guts test? I'm not good at guts. This is not really my deal. I'm gonna let the old man do it. This is maybe a little bit selfish, but if something goes wrong here, I don't want to be the one who was at fault for it. The old man ushers you from the room, and you wait outside with the other cosmonauts. Through the door, you can hear his knife sawing through flesh and then bone. Finally, he comes out and shakes his head. "Oh, she's gone," he says quietly. Greta's body is sent off to the morgue. One of the cosmonauts leaves to tell her mother. The rest gather in mournful silence. The old man delivers a somber speech. Cosmonauts have been coming back with worse and worse attacks of the metal, he says, and they should have seen the warning signs earlier. After what happened to Greta, he cannot allow the club to continue. It shall be disbanded at the end of the month. After, the old man taps you on the shoulder. "I'm sorry you had to witness that," he says quietly. He taps his own face with a clang. "We've had to deal with infections before, but never that bad." One of the cosmonauts has picked up the twisted chunk of iron with tongs. Its stringy tendrils wave languidly. "Throw it back down where it came from," says Anton wearily. "So wait, what is that metal?" "We don't know," says Anton. "All tests identify it as ordinary iron. But there are flying things down there in the dark, and if they get a scratch on you, the metal latches on and starts to grow." "Well, okay, why do you send people down into the abyss if it's so dangerous then?" "The same reason you explore the house, if I had to guess. Curiosity, bravery, foolishness." "Okay, but I have a very specific aim." "So, the cosmonauts are gonna shut down operations then. It seems wise." "Yeah, afraid so," says Anton with a shrug. "We send any more people down in those rust buckets, well, they'll just keep coming back hurt. What we really need is to build a proper machine, something that'll protect our cosmonauts at any depth. But we don't have the materials or the funding." "Oh, interesting you should say that. I'm really a materials and funding kind of guy." "Really?" Anton brightens. "Well, I've drawn up blueprints for something I think could keep us safe down there. Always thought it was fantasy, but..." He begins rummaging through his desk drawers. "Ah, here we are. The Chasmosphere, I call it." He hands you a crude blueprint. A bell-shaped vessel protecting the cosmonauts inside with 3 layers of warding iron and witch glass. "Those are the materials I'd need," says Anton. "And a new golem. Poor old Bobby Pins here is getting a bit worn in the joints. Have we ever seen witch glass before? I mean, I know where to get warding iron and golems. That's no problem at all." "Okay, we'll keep an eye out for witch glass." Alright, it looks like we have maybe done the things that we're going to be able to do here. I could play with my pet. Yeah, there we go. Hold on a second. I didn't realize... Boy, there are so many options here. Ponder your unsettling conjectures. On success, you will gain apprehensions and a dread machination. I mean, I'm pretty good at esoterica. We might be able to pull that off. You fret for hours over what you learned. The implications, if true... Okay, that's interesting. How many, like 298 apprehensions. Well, you know what I'd really like to do with them is spend them on a new crew member who can shore up my my graft. Alright, we're gonna try... Whoa, I think we just saw it roll crew there. Alright, I'm gonna try one more time. So it does seem like we're seeing a lot of the same people, but not always the same people in all places. Like, we saw Valeria Bell Roberts in all 3 of the cities that we've tried advertising in recently. Maybe there's just not a lot of crew members for certain slots? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's do the thing. I think it's about time. Ashen says you'll need a fetch mirror, which we totally have. Welcome to the War Room, Ashen says as she lays out her blueprint of Fortune Hall. The War Room looks remarkably like her bedroom. Her bed is unslept in. No one will expect us to attack through the mirror-wise, she says. This is going to be perfect. See, this is a good example of the text not quite keeping track of the game state, because her bedroom is in my house in a different city from here. Okay, no one will expect us to attack through the mirror-wise. I can't help but notice that you just said us. Ashen nods, just once. Yes, us. Well, alright, again, in for a penny. Ashen pulls a pistol from her bedside drawer. The golden bullet is loaded already, and we need to discuss who shoots. I'd love to be the one who kills the bastard, of course, but I'm a terrible shot, she shrugs. There's a reason I like my knives. Well, the gunsmith did imply that aim didn't matter, but I'd like to think our character is socially intelligent enough to realize that she's probably just trying to wave off of having to be the one who does it. I'll do it. I got no problem with this. Ashen hands you the gun and you tuck it into your belt. Now don't fire until G is in your sights. Please. We only have one chance at this. Have you gone mirror-wise before, boss? Actually, no. Then you should prepare yourself. The world will turn surrealist. Do not step on the violet grass. Avoid looking at the sky, even if you hear it call your name. And try not to think too hard about anything that frightens you. Are you ready? That's a terrifying set of instructions, but I'm not going to get any more ready than I am right now, so let's do it. The fetch mirror glows and flickers in the corner, the movement of your reflections delayed by an instant. Ashen strides toward it, her thin frame casting scarecrow shadows across the wall. Yeah, I see no reason not to go together. You leap into the mirror, and the glass shatters you across time and space. You emerge in a reverse replica of Ashen's bedroom. Beyond that mirror-carved niche of reality, of course, the mirror-wise spasms and whistles. The sky, don't look, is a field of blazing teeth. Okay, why would I look at that? The indigo grass, don't touch, is writhing and shrieking in a wordless language. Bleeding comets orbit you. Ashen seems to know the way. She forges ahead through clouds of madness. And we follow. What else could we do? You make it some distance before Ashen collapses, sagging sideways like a decrepit elm. Flashing grass is wrapped around her feet. Her good eye is as white as the blind one. I'm sorry, Perse, she says, clutching at your coat. I'm sorry for what I did to you. I'm making it right. She says nothing else, slumping into one of her dazed emptinesses. You look around the tangled, howling wilderness. One of her dazed emptinesses. Is this a thing we knew about before? I feel like it's not a thing I knew about before. Well, I think we probably... Listen, our character is definitely more of a brains than heart or emotion kind of character. You might notice a bit of a theme with the guys that I make. I'm just going to rack my brains for a path. How are we going to solve this problem? You loop Ashen's arm over your shoulder and pull her through the whirling of colors and dance. A wooden armoire sits pointlessly in the middle of the empty wastes. You tear the door from its hinges and bundle inside, through the coats and furs. You emerge in another part of the mirror-wise, quieter. In the distance, you see a small circle of reflected kitchen, the view from your mirror's hiding place in Fortune Hall. Ashen stirs and wakes, breathing heavily. Well done, boss, she mumbles. Didn't expect anything like that. Bad memories. Yeah, maybe somewhat relevant memories. And then, something approaches. The shimmering sky cracks like an eggshell. A vast pale dome emerges, followed by a pair of weeping eyes and a convulsing lamprey mouth. It is almost like a human, but sexless and colossal and lacking limbs, so not a lot like a human. A torso and a bald, slavering head, floating balloon-like toward you. Strangers approach Fortune Hall, intones the entity. They must identify themselves. A security system? In the mirror-wise? Ashen takes a deep, shuddering breath, then grins horribly. I didn't expect that, crafty old bastard. My guile is insufficient to pass... I'm gonna run. We're just gonna make a run for it. I'm not gonna be able to pass this. I'm just gonna make a run for it. You run for the mirror, Ashen loping by your side, and the entity opens its spiraling mouth. A blast of oven-hot, rancid air wilts the grass around you, leaving you both gagging and retching. The intruders will turn back or die. The choice is theirs. The cracks in the sky are like a spiderweb now. More bald entities emerge from the darkness. 4, 6, a dozen, each as titanic and limbless as the one that hangs over you. The entity's mouth opens a second time, and belches a ball of sick yellow fire in your direction. That is totally sick. Yeah, leap away, fingers crossed? Hey, I passed it. I mean, if it had hit us, I probably would have just gotten maimed again. I'm pretty much permanently maimed. At this point, I don't even notice it anymore. You dive to one side and feel tongues of heat and pain lick at the back of your neck. But you make it. Come on, shouts Ashen. Together you run for the mirror and dive at the glass. A shattering. The unreflected world is in almost as much chaos as the Mirrorwise. Wailing sirens fill the kitchen. A bell rings shrilly somewhere. Red lights are flashing. The cooks rampage about in a panic, bumping into each other, and you hear a splash as one of them falls into a soup vat. Ooh, that's bad times. You sit in the cavernous kitchen, surrounded by broken glass, next to Ashen. The gun weighs heavily in your belt. Well, they obviously didn't expect us to come through here, she says. Now's our chance. You! Gilly Bellheart strides through the smoke, a rifle slung over his shoulder, or her shoulder. She seems to have changed from her formal doublet into the traditional battle dress of a Gravitonite priest. Steel-capped boots, chainmail, a vicar's collar. She is, of course, still wearing her dark glasses. As soon as I heard someone was coming in through the Mirrorwise, I remembered you ducking away from me in the kitchen, she snarls. She points her rifle. Very clever. I'm gonna put you in an oven. Fighting her seems like not... This is really why we have Ashen in the first place, right? Hey, Ashen, do the thing while I go do the thing. Ashen and Gilly weave a circle of flashing knives. There is a clamoring of guards out in the sunflower fields. Reinforcements. You must move fast. You take one last look at the fighting women. Gilly flitting and graceful. Ashen mad and brutal. Well, we have an awful lot riding on Ashen winning that fight. Let's go upstairs. G's office is exactly as you remember. The sounds of battle cut to instant silence when you close the door, very dramatically appropriate. The enormous man is poring over his poems. He looks up at you, eyes red-rimmed. Did you really not like them? He asks plaintively. You shoot him in the head. Yeah, it's time to get out of here. Back downstairs. Downstairs, the kitchen is an abattoir. Gilly is dead, so are the guards who had rushed to her aid. Ashen lies slumped against the wall, so hurt that she shouldn't be alive. You kill him? She wheezes, and you nod. Good. You help her to her feet. Let's go. Oh good, I'm so glad you're here to come up with these ideas for us. Together, you hobble back to the fetch mirror and dive through the cracked glass. The entities are nowhere to be seen, freed from servitude, perhaps, by the death of their master. You head back through the madness of the Mirrorwise, back to Ashen's reflected cabin, and back through the looking glass, bloody and grim. We did it, says Ashen with a genuine smile. Then she passes out. Well, I mean, I hope she's gonna be okay in the long run. I guess we're good here? They don't sell anything unusual in this city, do they? I don't think so. They certainly buy things. Yeah, they'll buy all kinds of stuff. Well, I guess let's just go, then? Don't really have anything else that I want to do here, I don't think. We should probably have words with her. You know, there's probably some questions worth asking. But let's get on the way to the City of Keys first. So, north a couple of tiles, east a bunch. Alright, is Ashen still alive? Yes, she's actually doing pretty well. No, don't flirt. Flirt seems dangerous. Celebrate. Now the consortium will be tearing themselves apart already, says Ashen. Gene never thought he'd die, so why appoint a successor? The City of Bridges is going to be a dangerous place for a while. Yeah, more so than usual. She's more chipper than you've ever seen her. And it's all thanks to you, boss. I'll fight in your crew as long as you live. You have my word. Okay, well, what about the other names on your list? Ashen shakes her head. Can't tell you all the names on my list, boss. But I can tell you the very last one. She points to herself. Me. When I'm done with the other 8, well, she makes a quick cutting motion across her throat. I guess, yeah, she clearly has some strong feelings about a thing that she did to someone. Well, to the death of the ancients, I suppose. You pour Ashen a glass of fizzing champagne, and she raises it with a smile. Ah, to SB, she says, and to the end of 7 more. She knocks back the champagne in a single gulp. You've never seen her smile like this. She looks human. It's unsettling. And then I wonder is that going to be the end of the story? I mean, that can't be the end of the story, right? But if we have to do something of that scale 7 more times, it would certainly be, by a large margin, the longest crew story. I guess the Tybalt one had a lot of steps, but I feel like we've done a lot already. I don't know that we necessarily need to increase our grit. Hold on. Where's my stats at? We could... We could spend some apprehensions on Bishop Lindman, I suppose. I don't really want to, though. I mean, he's very much a placeholder. Did we have a quest going with him? No, the only thing that he had ever asked of us was to drop him off and let him out of the crew, right? Yeah, I don't know. We should spend our apprehensions, though. So I guess let's put them into... I mean, powering up our Graft and Esoterica makes a lot of sense. We're like Graft, Esoterica, and Spirit. That's our thing, right? Obsidian Statue, you know what? Sure, take it aboard. I would like to have more insight, and also it feels a little bit appropriate that if we're like getting closer with Cromlech, that some of his knowledge would be rubbing off on us. Let's go this way. Nope, he's very injured is the thing. We need to avoid combat until he's feeling better, because I don't want him to accidentally die during a big fight either. Which I guess means that Delgado plotline is not resolving itself anytime soon. So it seems like they just get better over time, like maybe as we stop in places. Maybe that's why the passage of time matters. Oh, I went north too many. Maybe that's why the passage of time matters, because that's how your upper deck crew heal from their wounds. There's something that kind of really sucks about the whole upper deck crew can suffer, and like there's all kinds of stuff happening with your upper deck crew, and your lower deck crew are all just like total binary. They don't experience pain. They're perfectly fine and invulnerable until they suddenly die. You know, it's appropriate to a certain kind of story that we are to some degrees imitating here, but also it sucks. I don't want to lose my stuff. I'm just gonna bribe them. Whatever. We could have tried to pass the check, and who knows? We might have, but why bother? All right, let's go drop off all of our reports. We still haven't actually done the thing we've been assigned to do. We're supposed to go down to Caloram, right? Whatever. We'll get there. Turns out being a reporter pays really, really well. Okay, repair the hull, sure, probably should. Wander the streets for a bit, always fun to do that. A watch officer stops you as you wander toward the dead zone that surrounds the Howling Pits. Ah, yes. I'll offer to stand watch for him. This didn't go all that well last time, did it? You offer to take over for the night. After all, he's probably needed elsewhere. He attempts to not appear overly grateful. Hours of watchfulness later, you spot some scampering, shapeless shape crossing the rooftops. You catch a glimpse of trailing tendrils, pale eyes, and a soft, grasping thing like a child's hand. Then it is gone, skittering over the slate in near total silence. An instant later, a man and woman melt from the shadows on either side of you. I'm gonna follow them. Perhaps they could use some help, and also I'm very curious, and also, wounds are irrelevant. It doesn't seem like it matters whether we get wounded at all. You were lucky. You wake up the next day in a rundown hostel with a horrifying migraine and no memory of anything after you followed the governor's men. Whatever happened, the government confiscated your memories of it. But you must have been of some help, to a greater or lesser extent, because the governor's men have left you 2 memories. The tall man's nod of appreciation, and the unremarkable woman's firm handshake. You get the feeling that, somewhere in the cavernous halls of the factory, someone has placed a tick against your name. Hey, +1 reputation. If only I could remember what happened. And then, yeah, we should visit the Howling Pits. Okay, they just seem to want to sell us the same 2 things over and over again. Check out the black market. You got anything really interesting? No. Dream Salve. Looking at our big list of stuff we need for reasons, Dream Salve is not on it. I guess we should check selling. Poodle weaving between her feet, Lillian takes you down the alley and into a derelict house. A few ratty fellows are waiting in the shadows, and for a moment you fear a trap. Ah, relax, I've been looking for a new supplier. You fit the bill. You keep the goods coming like this, and I'll be able to expand our little operation. Maybe start giving you a little extra? Let's carve a slice of this city for ourselves. You know what? Yes, I like the sound of that. Gained 1 criminal enterprise. Wow, that was easy. Together we're going to eat this city alive. You shake her hand and try to ignore the squish of rotted flesh. It's just the polite thing to do, really. So, do I now... Okay, obscene booklet. Yeah, we don't need our obscene booklet, that's for sure. The witch's butter, I have no idea whether we need our witch's butter. Yeah, well, whatever, we'll just, we'll hold on to it for now. Let's attempt to get a crew member. Nope, we'll replace Ashen. I don't really want to replace Ashen. Ransack Morton, that does look like a person we've not seen before, though, I think. Or at least not recently. Yeah, it seems like you might get different people in different cities. Okay, we'll keep advertising for crew elsewhere. What else do we want to do? We could just go ahead and cuddle our rhinoceros, obviously. And then there's some dwelling stuff to do. So, work on your magnum opus? I mean, listen, the progress bar's going the wrong way, but eventually it'll have to... Right, eventually we'll turn the corner on it, I'm sure. You're not much of a painter, but you don't want your masterwork to be constrained to one artistic format. You begin teaching yourself brushstrokes and resolve to buy a canvas. This will blow all your previous work out of the water. You can feel it. Is 95%... Is that less than we had before? I feel like that might be the same percentage we had before. So hey, that's progress. Not going backward is like progress. If we got up to 10 lurid tales, we could earn 2,000 gold. If we got up to 10 thrilling yarns, we could earn 2,000... Sorry, guineas. Honestly, though, it's just like... It's not that much money, considering... whatever. We'll invite Bishop Landman. Maybe this'll open up a quest with him. Bishop told you firmly that he would arrive at 7 o'clock. You look up and down the street at 6:59, but he is nowhere to be seen. At 7 o'clock, there is a single knock. Of course there is. You let him in. He occupies your parlor uncomfortably, pressing into the back of his chair as though willing himself to fade into it. But every word he speaks is inspected and polished to a shine before it's allowed to exit his mouth. And he has surprisingly controversial opinions on the factory, the city, even the governor. Everything, he says, is corrupt, and all the systems are broken. The current state of affairs is lamentable. I'd rebel if I thought the alternatives were any better. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. The governor's stranglehold on this city, it's all... Listen, it's all a bad time. It turns out everything's terrible everywhere. I am gratified to find us in agreement on this matter. He smiles, as though at some private joke. I'll let you know if I find an alternative worth pursuing, and I trust you to do the same. Okay, that's interesting. That's suggestive of a thing we might work on together. He says his goodbyes in his usual clipped tone. And then, yeah, we can write some poems. Why not? Why not write a couple of poems? You know what I really need is more apprehensions. And we pick up reflections on mortality constantly, so I don't feel too bad going real low on those. And then, like, fragments of epiphany, we'll hold on to a couple. Moments of melancholy, we'll hold on to a couple. Yeah, I think that's all the writing we really need to do. Alright, we could sell some information. Oh, I was gonna try to, give them a book of poetry. Am I allowed to do that? We could donate the fossilized ghost. But the ghost might be too spooky. We're getting a little on the spooky side with the museum, right? Donating the corpse of a god feels like... I mean, it would make our museum really cool. I'm just concerned that if we ever need a god corpse for something, it might not be easy to come by another one. I'm gonna hold off on this for a moment. What are we at? 52%. We do have a lot of real cool spooky stuff here. A single cryptoglyphic tablet. I mean, we must have a ton of those, right? Could I... Well, we only have 2 more. We also have 10 piles of old bones. That's just a bunch of dead weight in our cargo hold. Barely acceptable level of decency. Alright, I'm gonna... Yeah. Museum's invading your nightmares. I got it. I'm gonna leave it for now. We're not gonna mess with it too much more. So, I guess this would be an okay time to get the hell out of here. Sack of salt. I'm just trying to see here. So we can buy gallows candles here. We do need some gallows candles. But because we can buy... I'm not going to stress about it. We can just buy them here. For Cromlech's thing, we're going to need 3. It really is the zoological specimen that's holding us up on that. Alright, so, now that we've done that, I don't really have a strong plan at this point, I feel like. We do need to take Spire around to the cities of the gods, so maybe that's what we should do. We could zoom through this area and maybe get into a fight with some Governor's men, although honestly, maybe we shouldn't. Oh, this is Bog Shadow. Yeah, we've been to Bog Shadow before. We do know there's a city over here. Yeah, alright, I suppose that makes sense. And then what? Caloram is down here somewhere, right? Yeah, that's Caloram. So we could get our writing assignment done. Okay, well, if we're going to do that, obviously we're going to stop by the City of Angels, because there's absolutely no reason to ever not stop by the City of Angels. It's free, it's just free sanity. And then also, you know, there's a quest or whatever. Somebody in our employ would like us to do the thing. But mostly I'm concerned about the free sanity. I guess we gotta bring this star back, too. So is Cromlech feeling... No, Cromlech is still very maimed. Alright, well, I guess we just have to wait. I really want to pump my inside up, but... the dude's gotta get better. Alright, free glimpses. Can't remember. How much further north do we need to go? I'm very spacey. Okay, just go on the diagonal. You'll be fine. It is not clear to me exactly how long it takes for our crew to recover from wounds. It seems like it's forever. Seems like it happens really, really slowly. Every once in a while, we just get a notification that a crew member has become unwounded. Although one time that meant dead. Which is, it's not even a good euphemism. You can be dead and still horribly wounded. Alright, hey, gather news. And then, just really recover the hell out of our sanity. We might need it for the things we have coming up. Let's advertise for a crew member. Oh, Nox. Wait, isn't Nox the one I shot? I mean, she's fine. There's no reason to think she wouldn't be, wouldn't necessarily still be able to do the job. I didn't kill her. But I'm surprised she's willing to work for me again, is all. Augustus Ribbons would replace Bishop Landman, a circumspect man of formal dress and angular proportions. He is a veteran of several wars with scars to prove it. Ruthlessly organized and relentlessly polite. He seems capable of anything. What is with the organized and polite thing? What is it about being a pilot that just makes you organized and polite? I think we're going to take on Augustus. And then I'm going to do it again, because that was successful. No, I don't really want to replace Spire or Pen Pusher, though. Alright, one more time. One more spin of the wheel. Okay. We're just going to have an empty slot on our train forever, it looks like. Okay, let's take Spire to see the city. This, I think, is our most important goal, because I feel very strongly about helping Spire. Two of Spire's eyes roll in their sockets. The third opens, wide and hungry, aglow with violet light. Cloister, Spire speaks in the traffic-bustled voice of the city ghost. The fourth city of gods, ruled now by the perfidious traitors who rose against us, under the dominion of cursed Barafal. Hey, we've seen that name quite a bit, huh? He strolls by your side through the streets, staring with open hatred at the angels above. Yeah, I'm curious what... Hey, what are you? Hey, what in the entire hell are you? Spire ignores you entirely, seeming focused on the cathedrals and temples around you. So, Cloister was never destroyed, never trampled and buried and built upon, says Spire, that terrible voice sounding suddenly desolate. The angels hollowed it out and colonized the shells of its temples. Maggots in a corpse. The purple glow dampens, and Spire's normal eyes flutter open. Hey, buddy, how you feeling there? Better, says Spire, his voice catching in his throat. Less anger burning up my head. More melancholy. Spire faints as he clambers back into the kinetipede. You carry him to his quarters. There is a faintly rotten smell about him. The smell of the unwashed dead. Okay, well, that's one of the many cities. Well, it's 7, right? 7 that we have to visit? We'll get there. We have a lot of traveling left to do. Alright, let's deliver a star. You hurry through the dark streets, ducking into alleys to avoid the gaze of angels. Zarafael is waiting for you, hunched and scratching on his parapet. Ah, you have it! He leaps down, suddenly agile, and pulls the blazing sphere from your grasp. A secret once told is a secret no more. Is that not the case? I told it once before, so why not tell it again? He grips his face, long nails tearing ribbons from the flesh. Oh, I feel ashamed, but I am damned already. Hand me your map. He makes a marking just north of Panachak. There, he says, that is the door that leads to the old lady's orchard. Well, okay then. What are you gonna do now? Zeraphael cackles. I'm going to finally get my revenge, you see. On her who did this to me. He cups his hands to his mouth, calls up in a suddenly thunderous voice. Barafal, I am calling in the favor you owe me. A flash of light, the ticking of a clock. When your vision recovers, you find Zeraphael standing straight-backed, muscular, his gouged eyes restored, and he is clad in light bronze armor, with a shield at his side. He sculpts the star into the shape of a sword. Tonight, an immortal dies, he says, turning the shining blade back and forth. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. Can I tell you, I don't exactly remember who he was going to kill. I feel like... You know what? I'm not in the business of saving the lives of immortals. He spreads his rejuvenated wings and leaps. The angel streaks through the air like a meteor, and then is gone. Yeah. What am I? A life-saving guy? Alright, book burning, we got volume of poetry. What a shame. That's basically a failure. Okay, and with that, I guess we're done here? I mean, it seems pretty significant, that thing we just did, but I don't really know what to make of it, so I guess we're just gonna keep moving. Yeah, okay. So do we want to veer west at all? Is there a good reason to do so? I guess, yeah. Alright, we're going to Ghoul Watch, so... We can swing through... We could swing through the City of Bridges on the way there. We probably should, just for the sake of picking up news. Alright, so 1 west, several south. And thence, Ghoul Watch. Well, wait, a thing is happening. You slave over your journals and notes, and fall asleep at your desk tormented, and it turns out Persephone wants to know some things. Back to the orchard, which now reminds you irresistibly of the Star Gardens, except bigger, brighter, with endless blue sky above. Oh, that's true, the apples do emit an awful lot of light, don't they? Persephone dangles from her tree, as gaunt and corpse-like as ever. She greets you with a wry smile. I missed you, she says. I was lonely up here. But not for much longer, I hope? You've done well to prize the door's location from Zeraphael. Soon you can save me, and we will escape together to another world. She sighs. But first, there is more to be done. Yeah, what now? The house can rearrange its rooms at will, she says, and mortals are forbidden to enter the orchard. As soon as you unlock the door, the house will realize where you're trying to go and shuffle the orchard elsewhere. And then no one will know where it is. Not you, not I, not Zeraphael. Okay, well that seems bad. Is there something we could do? Actually, there is one person whose every command the house will obey. This will be difficult, but you must track down the first mortal. The who? He calls himself the Trickster, and he was the first human mortal to come to the house. He's largely to blame for the mess we all find ourselves in. Oh, is he now? Well, I would like to have some words with him, then. Why would the house listen to this person's commands? The house must obey him, says Persephone. He is, technically, its owner. And then we're just not going to ask any more questions about that. That's not a thing that we feel needs to be elucidated. Okay, fine. That's fine. We'll figure it all out in time. Where can I find this first mortal? This is the tricky part, she says. For centuries, hunters have combed through the house in search of the trickster. The governor, the imperatrix of Thread, several gods, and, of course, his mother. As a consequence, he has hidden himself well. He has shattered himself into smaller pieces, and each has fled to a different dark corner. All we need is just one of these fragments. One would be enough. Okay, well, where would I start looking? I have no idea, she says. The world drowns in light. Explore. Discover. Your dreams will guide you. The orchard is gone. Persephone is gone. All that remains are echoes of her voice. I believe in you. And then you wake, clear-headed and refreshed, and way less trusting than I was before. I don't feel like I believe in you. Hold on just a goddamn second here. This is wrong. Something's wrong about this. I believe in you. That doesn't seem right at all. Well, apparently I could just immediately dream of it. Listen, I'm very tired. Let's just have some more dreams. This will provide a hint about finding one of the aspects of the trickster. It is not a required step in the quest, but will help point you in the right direction. Well, you know, what we certainly have is apprehensions. There are 7 aspects of the trickster. Interesting. You dream of a castle that bewilders the eyes. Its bleak stone walls defy perspective. Its stairs crisscross with callous disregard for the intervening physical space. Its drawbridge twists like a ribbon. As you watch, it oscillates, folding and unfolding across unfathomable planes, reconfiguring itself into a new nightmarish impossibility. In the dungeons, a coffin. In the coffin, a sleeping boy. Okay. I feel like, its bleak stone defies perspective, disregard for intervening physical space, etc. describes about 40% of the places we've been so far. Let's dream again. Hold on. Give me a better one. You dream of a cheese-yellow crescent moon hanging benevolently over a village of colorful brick. A village of colorful brick under a cheese-yellow crescent. That doesn't actually sound like any place we've been. Alright, let's try again. I mean, there's probably still places we haven't been yet, right? In fact, we know for a fact there are. You dream of a muscular old man luxuriating beside a pool with a cocktail in hand. He grunts and glances up at you. Get out of here, dream spirit, he grumbles. Far too many of your kind around here already. The old man leans back again, scratching at his curling gray chest hair. The air is clogged with steam. This is Failbetter Quinn. The marble walls drip. You rise through the ceiling and up through several layers of twisting maze, out into the cold air far above. The entire... Oh, well, it just tells... This one just... I was so proud of myself for having figured out the clues, and this one just tells you the name of the city and the thing. Well, that's a... Okay. Give me another one. Just curious. You dream yourself inside a prison cell. Stone walls, iron bars. A clown marionette grins at you emptily from its perch on the shoulder of a razor-smiled fellow in a coat and top hat. Well, what do we have here then, Owlglass? The old man seems to be speaking to the puppet, not to you. Well, I know. My name's not Owlglass, I know that. A dreamer's come to visit. Someone hunting after you again. Oh, I do hope they come find us. It's always good for a laugh when they find us. Okay, that's very concerning. That's probably the big prison, right? The Panopticon. Okay, I mean, go to Failbetter Quinn is what the quest is telling us. I can do that. I can go to Failbetter Quinn. Who says I can't? We should talk to new guy. A circumspect man of formal dress and angular proportions who definitely knows things about the City of Glass? No. I spent 3 years fighting to get the bloody thing back, only for it to up and vanish again, says Augustus. That's all I know. Well, alright. Augustus has scheduled a meeting, so we don't have a... We would need to travel near Oddwinter to turn on his quest. Oddwinter's the place... Oddwinter... Is Oddwinter the name of a particular settlement? Can't remember. I mean, it's probably this... If it is a particular settlement, it's probably in the cold area. And if it's not a particular settlement and it just describes an area, then probably it's the cold area, right? Probably it's the winter. I guess let's, well, we're still trying to go to the City of Bridges. Hold on. Let's go to the City of Bridges. We'll grab the news, and then we'll try to wander off to a cold place. And also, we got to keep an eye on Cromlech's condition and try to get a bunch of apprehensions jammed into him the moment we are able to do so. I do wish that it was easier to know, like how long it was going to take for him to heal, or even what his current status is. Like, having to open this thing up is a bummer. It sure does cover an awful lot of the top part of the screen. Also, Dr. Delgado, how have you managed to avoid, like, everybody else is so torn up. Everybody else who's been with us for a while is so torn up, and Dr. Delgado somehow is just fine. That does make me a little suspicious. alright, gather news, as always. We don't have the Caswine thing yet. It's a guy, convince him not to jump, persuade him, stop him? No, okay, yeah, I did click the right thing. That's just what happens. Alright, let's take a quick moment with our rhinoceros, and then out of here. West. Although, actually, northwest. Because if all it takes to turn on this guy's questline is to go near the cold part of the world, we should do that just so that we should have his thing running, right? I don't know that it's necessarily going to be valuable to us to swing by Clayton's Mill, but we may as well. We probably ought to buy some fuel, though, actually. If we're heading, like, way, way south. I'm trying to remember. Which settlements can you actually buy fuel at? Can you buy... I don't think you can buy fuel at Carapas. Yeah, we'll have to make sure we pick some up. By which I mean we should definitely have bought fuel already. Some excellent piloting there from that gigantopede. Yeah, of course gaze into the pure water. Who doesn't love a terrifying vision? A terrifying vision of all that is wrong. I mean, we may as well swing through Clayton's Mill. We might be able to win some money. And they think they sell fuel? Maybe? Here, let's have a quick chat with these guys as well. No map information. Okay, farewell. Honestly, for a thing of Godsmoke and a thing of Necrosia, 64 guineas is a pretty good price. I probably should have taken that. A test of vigilance. Relax and recover. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's ingratiate ourselves. We're going to cheat to win. Everybody loves a cheater. Yeah. 200 guineas. See, what was I telling you? We don't really need to rest and recover here. We can just interact with our pet. And then we can buy fuel here at a slightly not great price. I think I'm going to do that. Oh, they do love some dread machinations. The thing is, we can... You know what? We do have some expensive stuff that we want. I'm going to go ahead and sell this. Oh, apparently I have multiples. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good idea. Also, I'm going to buy a bunch of fuel. It's not a great price, but we're going to go up to 30. We got a long trip ahead of us. Okay. Now, back out to the cold part of the map. So we're going to want to go... Well, there's no reason not to swing through Vex, I suppose. So, north 2. It's going to be a long while before we see the City of Keys again. But when we do, we'll definitely be able to buy the, that other upgraded pair of legs. That other upgraded dozens of pairs of legs. Search for an intact book. Nothing. Again, the stakes are very low on this stuff. So what book could we find that would matter? Alright. I was kind of hoping that they would have some map information for us. I wonder how many total settlements there are. Because it does seem like it's a lot, right? Why are those guys driving around with a big scary red light on? They have to know that everybody's going to be able to tell that they're bad guys, right? I mean, I guess nobody driving a Scorpiopede is friendly. So why not at least put on a cool red bad guy light? Alright, we may as well gather some Godsmoke, you know, while we're here. And then probably time to cuddle a rhinoceros again. It might be a good idea to figure out exactly how often we can do that, because we could probably do it more often than we've been doing it, right? I guess we'll swing through the Kelp Fortress. So west 2 and then north. Mostly we're just trying to get to the part of the world where it is cold. Oddwinter sounds like a region rather than a place. Gravespite is nearby. Is it now? Gravespite. Okay, we'll hit that on the way back. Or on the way south to Ghoulwatch, after going up north to the cold part. We've definitely heard people mention Gravespite before. That's an obscene booklet. Turns out you can't drink that. Not really an appropriate thing for us to find in a bar. What were they thinking? I feel like at some point we were offered some vintage angel wine. Was it? It might have been in an interaction with another train. Seems like the stuff is remarkably hard to find. Alright, I think we're in the right column. We are not. I am terrible at thing. You know, I keep doing this thing where I think we need to go over, like, we needed to go over two columns there, yeah, we need to go over 2 columns. And I went outside of the city and then went over 2. For some reason, I am not counting leaving the city as a tile move. Like, very consistently am not. You'd think at some point I would learn. But now, even though I have called this out loud, even though we all know that I see it, somehow I will still forget. Alright, glimpses of another world are just incredibly common. Do we want to ask around about Pen Pusher's past? Is that a good idea? Let's study the Karchar language. Pick up a new passenger who wants to go to the City of Keys, get a little bit more cultural knowledge. I don't remember what... There's an option somewhere that requires 3 Karchar cultural knowledge, wasn't there? I don't remember where. Well, I'm sure we'll see it again. Gather news. Wander the permitted districts. Pick up another bit of knowledge. A Karchar bard is delivering a passionate performance of one of their hundreds of epic sagas. Every saga depicts the lives of a Karchar ancestor, spanning everything from their martial prowess and heroic exploits to their marital misadventures and minor family disputes. This particular saga describes the life of She Who Thirsts for Blood, a warrior whose fearsome nickname became ironic once she was cursed and became a vampire. That's appropriate. Like all Karchar sagas, it describes all the grisliest details in extensive, lip-smacking detail. Karchars do not have lips. The audience whoop and cheer. This one's an old favorite. Okay, well that was cool. That was useful. Alright, maybe this is a bad idea, but I am curious. The Karchar are suspicious and twitchy. One of them directs you to a little kelp shack in Guppermote Close, a quiet district where the old and toothless accumulate. As soon as you ask about Pen Pusher, the elderly Karchar invites you inside with a sigh. "Oh, most folks won't talk about his crimes," she says, pottering about her little fire, cooking something in a tin. "It shocked the whole community." "Tell me more. Do you know why Pen Pusher is such a terrible insult in our language? It's not because we're stupid savages. We pass on our stories, poetry, and knowledge by word of mouth. Among Karchar, writing is forbidden by the same taboos that ban incest and murder." Okay, but why though? "It petrifies language," says the Karchar. "An aberrant taxidermy. You humans give yourselves names without even having to earn them. You write things down in full knowledge that the words will change meaning over time. You are utterly careless with words." This is actually a very fair criticism. And poor Pen Pusher was always very human in his attitude. How was he caught? The old Karchar shakes her wizened head in wonder. "He went to the Hammerheads themselves, bold as brass, and showed them his books. His books! He seemed to think they would change their minds about the whole taboo as soon as he read aloud a few passages he especially liked." She sighs. "He meant no harm, and he was clearly mad. But even so, he was lucky to be exiled and not killed. Even his own mother was forced to disown him." "Huh. What do you know about Atheling?" "As mad as Pen Pusher," she says. "Atheling wanted to bring back the old Salt Cove Queen, the hunger that breeds, as though we weren't all glad to be rid of her. The other Hammerheads sentenced him to death, but somehow he escaped." I should go. I feel like I should not be a part of this." "Yes, hurry along, human," says the old Karchar. "Don't come back here. The Hammerheads will catch you next time, and if they hear you talking to Pen Pusher and Atheling, they'll string you up by your innards." She lifts her tin from the fire. "Here, you've been a good guest in my home, and it would be rude to send you away without taking a dinner." "Oh, how thoughtful. I love it when things are delicious." So, that may be maybe suggest that we will not be looked upon kindly if we do bring the Salt Cove Queen back to the house. You know, just something to consider, I suppose. Let's cuddle our tiny rhinoceros and continue moving. We could sell our delicious meat, I suppose. Nah, that's cool. We'll just keep rolling. So, we want to get to the part of the map that's cold. The Cathedral of Stolen Gods was that in the cold area? Alright, I'm going to go up to Chaga, and we're going to circle around and then head south. I think that's how we're going to handle that. Waste disposal might not have been in the cold... I don't know. Is this... This is this column. So we need to go over 3, and I'm going to remember that this is the first column change. I'm totally going to remember. I know you all believe me. Yeah, search for a drink. We do find a lot of old bones, I suppose. So I don't know, we might even, depending on how the fuel situation really works out, we might even be able to swing by Failbetter Quinn on our way back to the house. We're going to end up southeast. We could just, you know, travel north until we're simply east. Okay, I think we're in the right column now. Did I count it correctly this time? I did. Every once in a great while, I can successfully count to 3. Now there's video evidence. We just have absolutely no reason to interact with a Cairn, right? I don't think we've ever seen a good outcome from that. And, like, even an interesting outcome. But, I mean, if you wanna acquire a whole lot of corpses, that is certainly a way to do it. And I'm not gonna judge, you know, some people need a lot of corpses. We don't really need another bottled darkness, but they do sell pretty well. I'm just gonna stare down into the well. Oh, that's right, all you get from that is Divine Scrutiny. Okay, well, in that case, I guess we're pulling up bottles when we can. I am as scrutinized as I'm getting. How are we doing on cargo space? Okay, we're getting a little close. A part of that is that I have 10 big bags of old bones, and also, probably at this point, half a dozen golems just kicking around the hold. Alright, back to Chaga. Let's explore the ruin. We found ourselves a dubious trinket, a twisted knot of wood and copper wire buried at the roots of a toadstool. Touching it fills you with creeping dread. I do so love creeping dread. So, yeah, I guess let's just inspect it, right? No reason to just hold on to the thing. It's an enchanted gimmick. Great. Great, it's just garbage. Alright, well, I mean, it could be worse. We could have just lost that crew member instead, right? Alright, I suppose this is probably where we ought to stop. I do feel like we have a little bit of story momentum here, but it's fine. It'll still be here waiting for us when we come back tomorrow. So that is it for us for today. But when you return next time, we are taking an awfully long trip south and hopefully learning a lot of very interesting things on the way. And we'll see you then.